Hi Achievers, and welcome to my second webinar. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm in the office in Newcastle with the wonderful Andrew and Pete. They are invaluable to me with regards to sorting out all the techie bits. So if there's any complications, I'll pass that over to them. However, today should run smoothly. I know that you've logged in today because you're interested in how you can achieve even more. People are looking for the quick wins, and I'm assuming that means you too. I know that you want to be more productive, you want to be more focused, and I understand that it's my responsibility to give you the insights and knowledge that will help you do that. Keeping the momentum going, however, is your responsibility. So I want to make sure that you're well prepared. Have you got notepad and pen or your laptop or iPad ready to make notes? If not, go get them now. You got them? Okay, presuming you have, hopefully you're ready and poised then. I want to make sure that you get maximum benefit out of this time with me today. This is the whole point of me reaching out to all you people across the UK. And I actually believe I've got somebody across the waters today listening in as well. So we're going global. So in order to get maximum benefit, I want you to think about the amount of energy that you're going to put into this webinar. As you know, I'm always full of energy, and people ask me if they could bottle that, and I don't know how. If I knew how, then I'd be very rich. I'm sure I would. But we want to look at impact here. Now, I know that after today that you'll probably be processing what's happened. So your amount of impact is here. For example, processing. I know that Leslie's done a webinar and that she's given us lots of cool tips and things to do. Okay, that's what an average person would take away from today. A higher performer would take away the fact that they are thinking about what I'm saying. Yeah, actually, Leslie is giving us some really good stuff here. Doesn't she know a lot? Isn't she an expert? I wish I knew as much as she did. That bit isn't of any use to you. What's most use in order for you to be a high achiever is that you can actually critically reflect on what I'm telling you and what we're doing. This means that you have the ability to say, I wonder why she shared that with us. Oh, crikey, the biggest message that came through today for me was this. What do I need to do about it? So this is what gives you the actions that you're going to take away. So as we're going through this whole process today, this is the process down here. Think hard and then try to understand the importance of what we're doing so that you have maximum impact. Okay, got it? Obviously, I can't see you nodding, but I'm presuming you are.
We've got it.
We've got it. Thank you, Andrew and Pete.
If people have questions, remember, they can ask them below the video.
Yes, there should be a little prompt on the screen that you're looking at now. So please feel free to ask me a question at any point, because that helps me learn too. I need to know what you need to know, if you get what I mean. So I hope you caught that. If you didn't, it's going, I'm afraid. You have to be quick to keep up with me on these things. So I've tried to make this really easy for you, and I've broken this down in different ways today. But one of the key questions I want to ask you is whether you've got your can-do mindset in your head. You know, I love to work with people who believe they can do things and actually have the sight and the vision to know what it is that they're heading for, because they're the people that actually take responsibility and inspire themselves. You know, people will say to me, oh, Leslie, you're so motivating, but I'm only with you for what, 20, 30 minutes today. Who's going to motivate you when I'm not here? So that's down to you guys. For those of you that have a can't do attitude, and you have the approach that you're never going to achieve things, but you'll listen to this anyway, well, if I were you, I'd switch off, because that isn't going to be of any help. You need to change that mindset straight away. Those people who believe they can't achieve and they're looking for somebody to give them the golden nuggets are the ones that always blame everybody else and fail to step up and actually take the action that they need to do. So I'm hoping that you get it. If you've engaged with me before, you'll know that I'm a bit of an action girl, and that's what I will hold you to. So I've tried to put this in simple terms, as I said, things that you'll remember. And, you know, the Olympics is potentially something that's always on people's minds when we talk about top performers throughout the world. So I've come up with something that Andrew and Pete thought was hilarious. However, I thought you'd remember it. And this is to actually go for gold. Now then, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm looking for people who can be goal orientated, focus on the results, and actually get stuff done so that they learn what works and how to do more of it. Okay, so if we actually take a look at this and break it down, the GO stands for goal orientated. I can't spell every time I get up on the board. Orientated, I might have spelled that wrong. Goal orientated. Capture this if you're not doing so already. The 4 is focused on results. Okay, what is the actual impact that you're going to have? And the gold is to get on and do stuff, learn what works, and then do more of it. Okay, now before I put an exclamation mark after that statement, but I'm actually going to put a question mark this time, because one of my killer questions from a coaching perspective is what else? You can set goals, you can achieve the results, you can learn how to do more and be even more successful. But what's that what else? What's that next step? What is there that's going to stretch you beyond achieving you know, the normal average things that you want to achieve? What are the real breakthrough goals here that you're looking for that will make a huge impact on your life? So it might be that next time I speak to you or see you, I might say, are you going for gold? Question mark, because you know that that is the what else. Okay, so you need to be thinking about this in terms of, if you were going for gold in the Olympics, then you would employ the best coaches to get you there. You'd want to know the person that could shave off an extra 10 seconds if you were doing a sprint. You would want to know the person who could tell you what angle to hold their arm if you were throwing the highest. Now, as a business coach, it's my responsibility to tweak your performance to get you at your ultimate best, so that effectively you feel as though you have achieved gold for yourself. Success looks different to everyone, and don't ever be humiliated by the person next to you who says they are achieving more than you. Hold true to what it is that you want to achieve, okay? And make sure that that is your driver, not somebody else's success that's pushing you. This is going to be about your internal values and your internal instincts with regards to what you know is right for you. Because I don't want you going down the materialistic path and it's suddenly being all about the money. I work with people who like to make a difference in other people's lives, no matter what product you sell, no matter what service you deliver. So, moving on. I've laid in to this learning activity today 5 C's, because again, I wanted it to be something that you could easily remember. So we're going to start with C number 1, and I'm going to move over here for a reason. I hope you can see it. And C number 1 is clarity. This is always my starting point with my clients. Okay, so what is it that you really want to achieve? And then they'll say, well, I need to earn money, I want to be more successful. Yeah, but what does that really look like? In 5 years' time, what will your life be like? What will you be doing? Where will you be living? How much will you be earning? What sort of car will you be driving? And I get people to clarify where it is they're heading by visualizing that point in time. Now, you may already know this, therefore this is going to be easy. However, this can be one of your biggest stumbling blocks, and if you don't know it, then it's something that you need to work on. Because if you don't know where you're heading, then how on earth can you make the right decisions? You know, what steps are you taking? How do you know whether you're going off at a tangent or not? How do you know which clients to chase if you haven't actually got a formal plan? I know you might say, Leslie, it sounds so easy, but formulating a plan is really difficult. I agree. I've put together a package for you called the Breakthrough, which will help you with that. But if you work with me as a client at any point, then I'll make sure that you become clear about what it is that you're trying to achieve. Okay? The minute that kicks in, everything else starts to look a bit more simple. So clarity is the first C. The second C is competency. And why have I put that in there? Well, you know, a lot of people want to achieve even more, but they're just doing the same stuff and they're not actually learning as they go along. I need you to recognise how you need to be even better at what you're doing in order to get where it is you want to get to. So your competency might be about the skills that you need to learn. It might be about industry knowledge. It might be about expertise. It might be about experience by dealing with a certain type of client. If you were to actually assess yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with regards to how good you are at your job, i.e. would you get a dream client today, then what would that score be? If we took 1 as being, no, it actually looks as though you're quite inexperienced and lack confidence and you're not projecting yourself in a way that would give me confidence as a client, and 10 being you're super slick, you're on it, you've got your path clearly mapped out, what would your score be for today? I want you to have a think about that and write that down. And write what that measure looks like. So if you've put 5, why are you a 5? Okay, by answering these 2 questions. What gets you to a 5? If we thought that 5 was an okay score today, what's actually got you there and what's making you a 5 rather than a 2? But what gets you to a 9 or a 10? Have a look at that and what is it that's missing? Think about the skills, the experience and knowledge, what's actually missing. Research shows that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert, which effectively is 5 to 7 years in business. So if you're in year 1, then of course you're not going to necessarily be attracting the type of clients that you want to be working with, but who's right for you now? Who will actually help you learn enough for you to get to this point where you want to be in 5 years' time? So think about the importance of you never stopping learning, okay? And this is a bit of a light bulb moment that I had today, where I sort of realised that, you know, I'm dealing with certain clients and I love every single one of them and I'm achieving some great stuff. But how do I get self-satisfaction from that as well? And I actually said, well, because I need to know what I'm learning from that client on that day. So I've built in some reflective practice for me at the end of each day in terms of what that session actually did for me that I can use to build my business and help other clients in an even stronger way. Okay, so very important, hashtag never stop learning. The third C is to think about the constraints. Now then, you heard me mention before about the types of people who say, oh, I'll never do that, I can't do that, I haven't got enough money, my wife won't let me go and do these sorts of events, or, you know, I'm just not experienced enough. The more that you have that mindset, the harder it's going to be to get where you want to go. And I know from working with clients that 80%, probably maybe more, 85% of constraints are actually in people's heads. You are actually your own worst enemy with regards to this. And I do a nice little piece on inner critic and inner coach. If you go and look at my blogs, you'll find it there. And this tells you how to avoid being negative towards yourself. But a quick win to get you out of this is to actually write down all those barriers, make a list of them, put them on post-it notes, get them all out, okay? Whatever you think is holding you back, then lay it out on the table. Then I want you actually to make 2 columns. The first one is real, and the second one Imagined. How do you spell imagined? See, I'll lose sight of spelling when I get up here. And I want you to actually put those constraints that you've written under one of these headings. Is it a real constraint or is it imagined? Now, you might say to me, well, actually, Leslie, I need to be based in London, but I live in, I don't know, Leeds. Well, that is a real, I'll let you off, that is a real constraint. However, there are trains. So potentially you could commute 2 or 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be every day. But for those of you that say, I haven't enough money, you might believe it's a real issue, but actually it's probably imagined, because there are ways that you can borrow money, okay? There may be somebody that you can collaborate with that is willing to invest in your business. There may be somebody that's willing to share resources or move into your office from a hot desk perspective. So I really want you to think about how much you are holding yourself back. Is it real? Is it imagined? And I know what you'll all do. Straight away, you'll all put every single word in this column here. I've been here before. I know what you do. But ask yourself the question, could you solve that constraint easily? Okay? So that's a bit of a challenge for you there. There's a bit of a sideline. The more you work on your constraints, then the easier your flow will be. And that's what we've got to do, is get you in your flow of top performance. So in order to do that, I want you to allow yourself to be more creative. You know, we're all born with creativity. You know, what do kids do? God, give them a cardboard tube and they'll play with it in 20 different ways. If we gave somebody a cardboard tube as an adult, they'd want to just put it in the recycling bin. Okay, do you get the point? Don't lose the creativity that you've been born with. And I want you to think about creatively how you get around the constraints that are real. The ones that are imagined, you just need to let go of most of those and stop them from preventing you from moving forward. So use your problem-solving skills, which I know you've got, because if you're in business and you're already a high achiever, that is something that you'll be good at. So use your creative skills to solve the constraints that you believe are real. Okay? And if you can't solve them, think outside the box. Who else could help you solve them? Who do you know that has a creative mind? Or who do you know that would ask the right questions in order for you to do that? And you know what? There's something else I want you to think about here. Creativity is quite important for the whole of your progress of your business. You know, the pressure's on to constantly come up with new ideas and to be focused on where it is you're heading with your brand, etc. So I'm just going to challenge you for a moment. Is your office space or your place of work creative enough? For those of you that work at home, have you squashed yourselves in a corner in the bedroom? If a client could get a bird's eye view of your desk, what would they say? Now, some of you might have actually put an office into your building. You might actually already rent offices. You might work in a large organisation. But either way around, is that space giving you the opportunity for you to think freely and be at your best? If not, then get out the paint, get tidying up, get organised, okay? Put some inspirational posters up. I'm sure the boss won't mind. If a plant's going to do it, put a plant in. However, all that nice stuff doesn't mean you're going to work any harder. It might just mean for the moments when you sit back in your chair and start to think about something, it will inspire you a little bit more because you're interested in what there is around the room, rather than staring at grey walls, which is where one of my clients sits every day. I said, it's like a prison cell, this, and they laughed. But it wouldn't have inspired me to think. So make sure you're positioned creatively so that you can be creative. So C5, let's take a look. And that is about the choices that you actually can make. So you've gained some clarity. You've hopefully got an appreciation of what skills you need to learn. You've let go of some of the constraints and you're focusing on the real ones. You're being a little bit more creative. So this is about now, so what are you actually going to do? How are you going to prioritize? Because all of this might give you a huge to-do list. That's not really what I'm hoping we're achieving from today. Obviously, I want you to make progress. However, this is one way to break it down in terms of how to achieve your quick wins. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a definition of what I mean by that. So can we see here? Just checking with Andrew and Pete. If I draw here, can you still see?
Yeah.
Thank you. So if we just draw some quadrants here. Now then, what we're looking for is the amount of impact the activity that you do will have on you or your business. So if we use this axis as low impact, and we use this as high impact. Okay, you perhaps want to be drawing this for yourself, which gives me a bit of breathing space to have a look at my notes too. So potentially, if it's low impact, you're wasting resource, whether that's time, energy, whatever it might be. Up here, this is getting a return on your investment. Again, whether it's time, equipment, whatever it might be. If we then take a look at how easy or difficult things are to implement, so if it's easy to implement or whether it's hard to implement, determines whether it's a challenge or whether it's motivating. Now, I know those of you that have a big to-do list, of course, always probably start with the easy, motivating things to do. And you will say, right, well, I'll just get my emails out of the way. I'll just send that letter off to somebody. I'll just do this. Before you know it, it's 11 o'clock. What's happening is you're working in this box here. Easy to implement, has low impact, but it also means it has little value. Which isn't of much use to anybody, and all that does is creates disappointment. And I know that because how many of you say, oh my goodness, Leslie, I've been so busy, but I just don't feel like I'm achieving anything. I'll tell you why, because you're spending all your time in this little value box. Okay, now then, the other thing that people tend to get stuck into are all the jobs they feel they should do. They're probably on somebody else's agenda, but they're not really what you want to do in order to progress your business. So you end up in this box here doing things that are hard and challenging, but actually have low impact on what it is you want to achieve with your goals. So these are potentially not worth doing. And if you have a boss, don't tell him I told you to say that. It might be that actually they're worth doing, but by somebody else. So you need to find that person to delegate to. If you're your own boss, then you need to think about why your clients or suppliers potentially have got a grip of your agenda and you're being forced to do tasks that aren't going to help you in any way. Okay? What this can mean is that you end up with a slow, painful death. Because you are trudging in treacle, doing all the things that you don't want to do. No one else is going to break that cycle for you. This is something that you are going to have to do for yourself. Remember the problems, real and imagined. You might say it's a real problem that all my clients' work takes so much time that I can't get focused on me. Actually, the problem is imagined. The real problem is that you're not self-disciplined. You're not focused enough on what you're delivering. That's the real problem. So, moving on up here. If we go into this top quadrant and we look at the things that are easy to do and have high impact, this is where your quick wins sit. This is where your smart decisions are. Okay, now doesn't that sound exciting? I'm not excited already. Look, easy, so it's dead motivating, it's high impact, get a return on my investment. Oh my God, of course I want to sit here most of the day, of course. For those of you that are even more strategic and say, well, Leslie, I can't do everything as a quick win because some of this stuff is going to take months and it's a long-term focus that I've got here now that you've made me think about the next 3 to 5 years. So this box, hard and challenging, but with high impact. This is where your big goals sit. Okay? This is about strategic direction. So I'm hoping you understand the difference. So when you are deciding how to prioritise, you go, oh, Leslie, but yeah, how do I find out which are my quick wins? Create this grid and drop them in. Now, if I said to you, so what are you going to do? First thing tomorrow morning, where's your focus? If you all go, well, I'll just get my emails done, I'll just read that thing. No, please don't. Think about the quick wins. Plan one of those in. Do that, be exceptionally motivated, and then focus on the other things that you need to do. Okay, got it? I'm hoping so, because that's a great model that I created there. Oh, I'm hoping that you got it because it's rubbing out time. Okay. If not, I can always send them to you. That's not a worry. So, where am I? Number 5. I've just done choices. I'm hoping that you now know how to make these choices. Number 6. Complete things. Okay. Now then, I was reading some research just yesterday, and that piece of research said that the greatest inhibitor for performance are tasks that are incomplete. So people get demotivated by the fact that they know they've got some big stuff to finish. So if this is you, you need to really think about, if you start something, how are you going to get it done? And actually, if I said to you, if you write down all the projects that you've got on the go, or you make a list of all the big things that you know you've got to finish, then what would that list look like? I actually did this for myself about 2 hours before this webinar, and I came up with 7 key things. I then stepped back and said, actually, that will only take me half a day to finish. That will only take me a full day. That might take me 2 days. And I worked out that I just need 6 days of clear work to get all these things out of the way that are currently acting as a constraint on my performance. So write down your list of big projects that you know you've not finished, that you know you need to finish, and set yourself a deadline. And I want you to go to your diary, and I want you to write in your diary, today I have finished X. Okay, I want you to write in the present tense as you are writing in the future. Did that make sense? I want you to apply that concept to goals as well. So if you're planning in 3 years' time, when you write your goals in 3 years' time, I want you to put, I am driving X car, I have X amount of clients, I have X amount of followers online. I want you to actually write your future as if it's the present. I hope you get that. If not, drop me an email and I'll do a blog about it or something. So completing tasks can be one of your biggest motivators. And if you can get into, as Andrew and Pete say, scheduling for success, then the pressure is taken away. So if you get a big task, just say to yourself, well, I know it's going to take me 4 weeks. That's okay. Rather than thinking, oh my God, I've got to do it. I've got to start it. I've got to finish it. Okay. So be a bit more slick with that. And then the final C for me is to commit. I used the phrase before, hashtag never stop learning. I don't quite put a hashtag in front of it, but maybe that's something I'll be tweeting later. But this is about being really committed to making a change. If things aren't working out for you, you've got to break the cycle and start some things that are new. I'm hoping I've shown you today how easily it is to sort of let some of this stuff go and just start thinking afresh. You have to take yourself seriously in order for others to take you seriously. If you believe you have a professional business service, then you need to prove to people that you are developing professionally all the time so that you can serve them in the most appropriate time-served way. Okay? If you are not ready for change, then when will you be? It might be that actually you've got so much going on that you can't think clearly. Well, set a date, and I want you to put in the diary today is the first day that I am going to do things differently. But I know that for those of you that are going for gold, you're all going to be very focused on goals. We're going to be looking at the results that you're going to achieve as part of that. And this is about actually learning from your experiences. Okay, if things don't work out, that does not matter. I don't know many things that have gone well first time round, or perhaps second. Everybody learns the third, the fourth, the fifth time they do things. That's why we call it practice. You're practicing in order to be an expert. Remember the score that you gave yourself in terms of how competent you are. Then committing to improving your score by one step at a time will make a huge difference. I've said it before, nobody's going to come to your rescue. I'll give you all the support I can through methods like this. This is about you. Now then, you might say, Leslie, that's all good and well, but I work on my own and I've nobody to bounce ideas off. Listen, I don't know whether you've joined Atomic yet, but there's an amazing, amazing group of people there that if you have a question or a doubt in your mind and you post in that arena, then somebody will come back to you pretty quickly. You don't need to feel alone in today's social media society. You really don't. So please don't use that as an excuse. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a real constraint. Okay, get it? If you do want to commit further and you would like some more tools and help from me, then just have a look on my website. And what I'm trying to do is build, I suppose, interjections with you that will be at the right cost, that will be of a right time frame, and that will add the most value. So I've actually created something called the breakthrough, because people have kept saying to me, but Leslie, how do I just get stuff done? And I always say, what you mean break through those barriers, because that's effectively what you're doing. Within that, there are some tools that will take you through this whole process to help you achieve even more. Now, for those of you that do want to commit and think, well, actually, it's about time I did something, please, this isn't about me just selling to you. I know that this product will make a massive difference, because it's, you know, some of this is a culmination of 20 years experience in business dealing with over 1,000 managers, and it's just the starting point. So I've done it at a low entry for you. So if you make a commitment to the breakthrough, then I will make a commitment today to selling it to you at just less than half price. So if you're interested in that, click on the website. If not, it really doesn't matter. If you feel like I can potentially help you in some other way, then just email me and let me know. If there's other topics that you'd like me to talk about, then please send them in. Like I said, I need to learn what you need to learn. That's how I can be at my best. Okay, so I'm hoping now that you're feeling motivated and inspired, and that you're thinking, oh, what are my quick wins? If you're wrestling with this, you need to spend some time on it. But actually, just, you know, if you've got your pen and paper there, I want you to commit to one action that you're going to do today. Now, that might be within the next half hour. It might be before you go to bed. Okay? So I want you to commit, write it down. Today, I will do what? So I'll just give you a moment, write that down. Now, I've just mentioned that phrase, go to bed. There's something I want to give you a bit of a talking to about. A lot of my clients who are struggling,
Watch out.
a lot of my clients who are struggling are the ones that actually aren't looking after themselves. We all know that we should get 8 hours sleep. That's it, full stop. We all know we should get 8 hours sleep. So why aren't you? For you to be at your best, this is something that you need to think about. Now, I'm working with one client at the moment who has decided that she was getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She's actually going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning instead, and add an extra 2 hours a day to her working day. Now then, so far, she's achieved some remarkable results. And she said it's easier than she thinks, because she's actually a little bit tireder at night, so she is going to bed earlier more naturally. Okay, so be conscious of your sleep pattern. I know that if you focus on that as a quick win, you will feel better, you'll be more energized, you're going to look better, you're going to sound better. Okay, and I'll just throw one last thing in. If you want to be super productive, you know, there is one magic secret here. It's dead easy. Water. Drink water, lots of it. I know that a lot of you, when you're stressed and you're feeling like you can't focus, you grab the coffee, you grab the sugar, you grab the tea. Okay, have one coffee in the morning if that's what you feel you need. However, please, please, please drink lots of water during the day. Here we go. Here's mine on the go. Can I just have a sip because my throat's been dry?
That was a subtle hint, wasn't it?
Oh, thank you. But if you're going to get up at 6 in the morning, have a big glass of water, okay? You'll be amazed at the impact on it. I should have a health show really, shouldn't I? But another time I'll throw in lots of facts and information about sleep and water and all that sort of stuff. I know they're only simple little things, but even changing that, breaking your cycle, it will make a difference. So I'm hoping that you've enjoyed what I've had to say today and you're feeling all excited. I'm excited for you. Have I had any questions?
We have had quite a few questions, actually.
Ooh.
Now is the time to ask as well if you've got any other kind of questions. Put them in the box below. Yeah, okay, here we go. Question from Susan. This has been great, thank you. My worry is I get highly motivated by these talks, then don't actually do anything. Do you have any advice for that?
Oh, Susan, wake up. Wake up. About commitment, okay? You have got to invest in you. Nobody else is going to do it. I would suggest it's because you're not clear enough about what it is you want to achieve. And you might say, but Leslie, that's my stumbling block, okay? You might not have a full idea of what the full 5 years is going to look like, but write down what you do know. And that might be one simple thing that, like, you might want to move house. So it might be that you write, in year 3, I will be living in an X type of house, okay? Even if it's that one thing that's motivating you to earn the money and to focus on how to get there. With regards to staying motivated, you need to make sure that you are constantly in touch with like-minded people. Quite often, if you work on your own or you work in another business environment, people can be a little bit negative as you start to achieve even more, and they can pull you back. You know, my mum and dad sometimes would say to me, oh, what do you want to do that for? It sounds like hard work. But surround yourself with positive, like-minded people. And maybe one of the additional exercises you need to do as we go away from here is for you to think about who you enjoy listening to the most and how you can listen to them more. And who likes listening to you? Who's been helpful to you in the past? And how can you connect with them more? Even if it's a once a month virtual coffee over Skype, okay? You can join things like the Facebook groups, you know, going to Atomic. It's, how much is it, guys, a month?
$37.
$37. Oh, we've gone global. Okay, again, I'm not here to sell, but there are things out there that don't have to cost you an arm and a leg that will help you on your journey if you are on your own, okay? But Susan, you've got to start somewhere. Put a smile on your face, go to bed early, have a glass of water, and start tomorrow with a different mindset, okay?
Cool. I think you might have just answered Robert's question as well. I don't know if you've got any more advice for Robert. He asked, before you answered that question, you said we had to be clear about what we want to achieve, but what if that is my biggest barrier?
Yeah, and it is for a lot of people, and a lot of people are frightened of actually dreaming. And, you know, I always recommend that you talk to the people closest to you at this point. And if you're married, sit down with your partner, your wife, and actually say, you know, so what do we want to be doing in 5 years' time? Ask your kids, what type of holiday would we like to be going on in 5 years' time? That'll soon tell you how much money you need to be earning. Just have a think, what will life look like anyway? How old will you be? How old will your children be? You know, what other things will be happening around your life? Is there somebody that's going to be getting married? I don't know. But start to look at the things that you do know, and then allow yourself the freedom to dream a little and say, what if? Okay, so what if we moved to a 4-bedroom detached house in the year 2020? What if I could have a new car next year? What if we could actually take 2 holidays a year instead of 1? and then build around that and see what your model looks like and see how achievable it actually is. I'm surprised at how many people don't actually measure what comes in and what goes out in their household. People are just sort of guessing, using credit cards and juggling around. And I think by having that uncertainty then makes you uncertain about what decisions to make with regards to how you invest your money. Okay? And what decisions you need to make with regards to what it is you actually need to earn. It might be that you actually choose to move house and downsize and have your children are leaving home. So you could be saving money in 2 years' time. But until you actually chart that out, perhaps you can't decide. So I suppose it's how can you be clear on what it is you want to be clear about? Does that make sense? I'm hoping so. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Steve asked, what do you get in the breakthrough?
What do you get in the breakthrough? Okay, more of me. More of me. I'm hoping that's a good thing. Yeah, I've worked quite hard putting this together, and it was a dream of mine that I sort of established, about 2 years ago, and Andrew and Pete have helped me create it. It's effectively an online tool that you can log into and use at any time. There's an introduction and there are 7 key modules. Well, that number 7 keeps coming up quite a lot, doesn't it? There are 7 key modules, and within each module is a video of me explaining why I want you to focus on that particular area. And there is also a potential worksheets and business models for you to look at as well to help your thinking. And if you work through it step by step, it should give you a real clear strategic plan as to how to achieve even more. So you can go into it at any point. I've put there's a lifetime membership on there for as long as we're all existing, and you can dip in or out as often as you like. It might be that it's something that you choose to revisit every 12 months. The information will still be there, but because it's set pieces, it does mean that it gives you total flexibility. And then if you are feeling like you're on your own and you need a bit of motivation, you can just click on the relevant module that fits you. But I do recommend you follow it through in order, because that's how I've scripted it, really. I hope you enjoy it. If any of you do purchase it, then I'd love your feedback, because I'd like to do more things like that, and I want to make sure that they hit the right notes with you and make the difference. Is that sufficient information? Do you think I've covered that enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just need to click that button below the video to get
if you're interested.
Just over half price.
Yeah, if you click the button, it doesn't mean you're buying there and then. It means you can go to the point where you can read about it. And if you're still unsure from that, drop me an email and I'm quite happy to answer any questions. But, all the stuff I create is to help you be even better at work and in your life as well. Okay, that's my real passion. I'm on a mission to help people worldwide. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could stay involved somehow.
Okay, good. Final question here, unless we've got any quick fingers with any final ones. Christine says, love the high impact square. Any advice on working out what is high impact? What is a high impact task?
Oh, what is high impact? It's looking, it's gone now, hasn't it? It's looking at the return on the investment. It's looking at the difference it's going to make to you, your business, or your clients. That's really the measure. And it's whether high impact, it's whether it's helping you achieve the goals that you've laid out with regards to this sectional clarity. So is it going to get you one step closer to this point of realizing your goals in 3, 4, 5 years' time? That's what you're looking for. It might also be something that's helping you to learn. Okay, it might be something that's giving you experience. Remember, I talked about measuring your competency. So it's really, I suppose, anything that fits within these areas here that's actually going to be of benefit to you, your business, or your clients. I hope that's clear enough? Yeah? Okay. Brilliant.
Okay.
Anything else? We're done?
That's all the questions that have come through. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for your involvement. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I am praying that it will make a difference to you and that you will have an even more successful time than you already are. Please don't forget that, to get to where you are in life, it does mean that you've already achieved a lot already. And I'm only at the end of an email if you want to drop me a line. I wish you all the success in the world, and hopefully I'll see you at my next webinar, which will be coming soon. Okay, over and out, everyone. See you soon. Bye.